So today we're talking about prediction markets, places like Polymarket and Kalshi that let you bet on literally anything. Like for example, right now on Polymarket, you can bet if the US will take another oil tanker. And on this same exact website, you can also bet if Justin and Hailey Bieber will split this year. Like when it comes to prediction markets, you can pretty much bet on anything you can think of. And shocker, I don't think this is great for society. Like I don't think it's great that you can bet on like literally anything you can think of. I think this is a gambling addiction, a society-wide gambling addiction. But what's even weirder is how these were just allowed to kind of exist. Like these are just gambling websites. As much as people call them prediction markets, you go on the website and you bet if something is going to happen. It's gambling. Like there is no societal value from having a prediction market where you can bet on what the next top show on Netflix will be this week. There is nothing here. And at the end of the day, if you're just an average person using these websites, you're getting screwed over. They are just stealing your money. Because let's be honest here, most of the people who are setting up bets on these websites are probably insiders at all these companies and things like that. The guy who set up the Netflix bet probably just works at Netflix and knows what show will be the most popular. Like at the end of the day, most of these predictions are probably just made by insiders and they're turning everything into gambling because they profit off of it. And just because everything is gambling now doesn't mean your doctor has to be. That's why I use today's video sponsor, Zocdoc. Zocdoc is a free website that helps you book high quality in-network doctors. You can find the best doctor for you. And we're talking about over 150,000 different providers in all 50 states. Whether you're looking for a dermatologist or a dentist or just a primary care doctor, Zocdoc has you covered with over 200 different specialties on their website. And you can easily search and filter by specialty or your symptoms to find a doctor that is perfect for you. And Zocdoc also lets you filter by your health insurance coverage. So that means you won't get any surprise bills for being out of network. And if you don't have insurance, you can filter by doctors that accept people without insurance. And by far, my favorite thing about Zocdoc is how easy it is to book an appointment. There's no calling or being left on hold. You just go to the website, find the doctor you want, and book and wait 24 to 72 hours. That's it. You have an appointment. And sometimes, if you're lucky, there's a same-day appointment. So what are you waiting for? Stop waiting, stop guessing, and get the care you need. Go to Zocdoc.com/spatnz to find the doctor that is best for you today. Thank you, Zocdoc, for sponsoring the video, and let's get back into it. So you're probably wondering, how do these sketchy websites actually work? How are they allowed to operate and not considered casinos? Well, it's pretty easy, actually. Legally speaking, it's not gambling because they're prediction markets. It's a really silly loophole that just shouldn't exist. Basically, since Polymarket or Kalshi aren't the ones hosting the bets, they aren't technically a casino. Even though when you go on there, it's just a casino. All you're doing is placing bets on the most minute things you could possibly think of. So basically, Polymarket and Kalshi is just a middleman for all of these bets. That's basically how they get away with not being considered a casino. And that also means that every single bet on the website is just made by some random guy who was like, hey, I want to bet on this thing. Let me set up a bet for this thing. That's all somebody has to do. Have an idea, make a Polymarket account, and then make a bet on it. And you can obviously see where this becomes a big problem. If anybody can make a bet on anything, there is literally nothing stopping people from just making bets on things they know will happen. Like you thought insider trading in Congress was bad? Wait till they can just bet if a law is going to go into effect. Oh wait, they literally can. Like there is no universe where you can convince me that this kind of thing is a good idea. It is obviously just going to be insiders making bets on things they know will happen and then goading really dumb, impressionable people into betting the opposite. That's literally all this website will be and will always be. Like, of course, you're going to have some things that no one actually knows that people predict on. Like, for example, will the US confirm that aliens are real? This is stupid. This is a dumb thing. Like, you're always going to have people making dumb little bets that they think are funny. But for the most part, I think this kind of stuff will just be used for the obvious thing, which is just insider betting. That's like the most obvious use case for Kalshi or for Polymarket. It's the most obvious use case for both of those things. Like, guys, somebody made a bet that Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, would be captured the night before he was captured. I wonder who made that bet. Like, it is just so obvious that this kind of stuff would be used for insider betting. Also, the Nobel Peace Prize had insider betting on Polymarket. That's crazy. The Nobel Peace Prize used to be something that people actually cared about and respected, but no longer. First of all, they seem to be giving it to like literally anybody that can breathe. I don't think there's any qualifications for getting a Nobel Peace Prize than just breathing, okay, for real. But the Nobel Peace Prize Committee had an insider who bet on the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, and that looks really bad. Like, that really does devalue the Nobel Peace Prize and make it look like a big joke. And at the end of the day, if all these prediction markets were actually just fun little prediction markets where people could bet on random little things happening and there was literally zero insider trading, I would have a lot less of a problem with it. I would still think that we have a crippling gambling addiction as a society, but I wouldn't have as big of an issue with it. Because if it really was just people betting, will the US reveal that aliens are real in 2027? If that's the type of stuff all the bets were, I don't think I'd really care about these existing at all because they'd be funny little gags. I would still be a little concerned with the gambling aspect of it because ultimately this much gambling in a society is a cancer. Like, I'm sorry, I think gambling should be legal, but like, we need some friction here. Having the ability to gamble away all of your money on sports betting apps, prediction markets, and literally just online casinos is probably not good for society. I think gambling should have a little bit of friction. Like, I don't think states should outright ban physical casinos from existing in their states because I think ultimately a physical casino is better. Having that separation from gambling in your life is probably just overall healthier for everyone. When that gambling is just on your phone or on your computer a second away, I can see that causing a lot of problems for people, especially with the way sports betting apps conduct themselves. Like, these apps will literally find problem gamblers and then text them, incentivizing them to gamble more. They have independent people working at these sports betting apps, actual employees whose only job it is to message problem gamblers and get them to gamble more money. I don't think that's a great thing we should have in society. Like, I don't see any good coming from a tool like this existing, allowing people to just make bets on things they either know will happen or can make happen. Because think about that. How much stuff on here is things that people could do and wouldn't do if there was no monetary incentive? Like, for example, there's this bet that Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton will get divorced this year. And I think this is a ridiculous bet. I think this is just some random guy who's like, I think their marriage is kind of rocky. I'm gonna bet on their divorce. But what if Bill Clinton saw this Polymarket bet and was like, you know what? I think I do hate Hillary Clinton. And then bet a bunch of money on yes on the divorce and then divorced her and got a huge payout. I'm not saying Bill Clinton would do that, and I'm not saying it's a likely example either, but I think it's ridiculous to expect this kind of thing not to influence people's behavior at all. Like, imagine you're a referee for a soccer game and you saw a Polymarket bet for the two teams that you're a referee of for this game. What is stopping that referee from betting on the Polymarket and then making calls to get the result he wants? This kind of thing is going to happen more and more often as people get cued into this stuff. Anybody with any kind of position to make a decision that everyone else will see is in a position where they can make a bunch of money. This is obviously a bad thing for society. I don't know what else to say. These markets aren't just making predictions. They're directly influencing the behavior of people when they see this kind of stuff. It is crazy that news companies are using Kalshi and Polymarket predictions for elections. That's insane. Like, first of all, I think it's already kind of insane that CNN and actual news organizations have taken sponsors from these prediction markets. Like, I didn't have much respect for CNN beforehand, but oh my God, now it's zero. But when it comes to predicting elections, using money markets is a horrific, terrible idea. We already have an issue with money in politics in the US. Elon Musk has tried to buy elections before. It is a terrible idea to use election predictions off of a prediction market to predict who will win elections. This is a self-defeating prophecy. Because, for example, let's say a billionaire, Elon Musk, really wants a certain candidate to win. What is stopping Elon Musk from betting $1 billion on the candidate they want to win to make their odds look insane? If someone were to bet on the candidate they want to make their odds look actually insane, what do you think that does to other people's psychology when they look at that huge disparity? Because if you're watching an election and you respect prediction markets for whatever reason, seeing that a candidate has a 90% chance to win on a money market would influence your thoughts on both candidates. It just would. If you saw one guy have a 90% chance of winning, you'd immediately be like, what's wrong with the other guy? Why do only 10% of people think he's gonna win? What did that guy do wrong? Why does everyone think this guy's gonna win? If you buy in the whole put your money where your mouth is notion when it comes to the prediction markets and elections, you would automatically assume the guy that is more likely to win is just better because people are betting money on it. And obviously the one that has more bets is the better candidate. And ultimately, when it comes to predicting elections, the amount that people bet on Polymarket has no real influence on the election results. Like, besides the whole subtle influence of people seeing one candidate having a lot more bets than the other, in reality, the amount of money that someone has bet on them on Polymarket should have no real world effect on the election. It's just a dumb way to predict it. Like, as I said earlier, one billionaire could just come in and bet $1 billion in a candidate, and everyone hates that candidate, but on Polymarket, it looks like they're gonna win. And when you treat Polymarket or Kalshi like their actual predictions, all you're doing is allowing a billionaire to come in and change everyone's opinion about somebody. That's really all you're doing. And obviously, not everyone would be swayed by a Polymarket prediction on who will win an election, right? People aren't gonna necessarily change their opinions about a person because of that one instant. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that would, and I don't think we should allow that kind of thing to just foster. I think it's a bad idea. Like, if we want an actual democracy without money involved and who our politicians are, this kind of stuff is not helping. Like, it's already bad. Like, Congress already gives sloppy toppy to Israel constantly, okay? We don't need to make it worse, though, by introducing new things like prediction markets. We just don't need that, even though it's already here to stay, unfortunately, at least for like the next little bit. I don't know as a society if we'll get rid of Polymarket or prediction markets in general. I hope we do, but I don't know if we will. Because at the end of the day, too, betting on literally anything you can think of is just a gambling addiction. The people who actively use these sites all of the time are definitely just gambling addicts. If you're on Polymarket all day making predictions, you are just a gambling addict. And I'm not saying that with judgment. I understand that gambling is a hard addiction to kick. I could see how it could be so addictive. I get it. My point is, I don't think we should be allowing prediction markets to just suck up people who are problem gamblers and make them lose their entire lives because they wanted to bet on stupid shit online. Like, if we know there's a big subset of the population who are problem gamblers, we should not be making it the easiest thing in the world to access. If you want to buy liquor, you gotta go to a liquor store and show them your ID. And with Polymarket, you can just lie about your age and be 12 years old and bet on things. It's a huge difference. Like, to be 100% clear, I am not anti-gambling. I think vices will always exist, and if you just ban them, people will do them in secret. I just think we should have some basic regulation on prediction markets that are just online casinos. I think that's pretty much it. And at the end of the day, most of the trades on Polymarket aren't really bets because the people who made them know what's going to happen. You're just getting screwed. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you're new, and click the answers now. Check out more of my content and have a good one.